Part 1. The night I moved in, I never believed in haunted houses. That was my first mistake. When I moved into the old Whitmore house on Blackwood Street, everyone warned me. The neighbors avoided eye contact. The landlord smiled too much. Even the streetlights outside flickered like they didn't want to see what lived there. But rent was cheap, and I was desperate. The house stood at the end of the road, taller than the others, its windows dark like hollow eyes. The paint was peeling, the wooden door scarred with deep scratches, as if someone had tried to claw their way out. I told myself it was just old. Inside, the air smelled stale, heavy, like it hadn't been disturbed in years. My footsteps echoed too loudly, as if the house was listening. The floorboards creaked in places I wasn't even standing. Relax, I whispered to myself. It's just a house. The first night passed quietly, too quietly. No traffic noise, no wind, no insects, just silence. Thick and pressing. At exactly 2:17 a.m. I woke up, not because of a sound, because of a feeling. The feeling of being watched. I lay frozen in bed, staring at the ceiling. The darkness felt alive, crawling over my skin. Then I heard it, a soft footstep, downstairs. I held my breath. Another step. Slow. Careful. Someone was inside the house. My heart hammered as I reached for my phone. No signal. The screen flickered, then went black. The footsteps stopped. And then, a whisper. It came from directly below my bedroom. Daniel. My blood turned cold. No one here knew my name. I grabbed the baseball bat I kept by the bed and opened the door. The hallway was dark, but at the far end, a faint light glowed from the living room. I crept down the stairs, every step screaming beneath my weight. The whisper came again, clearer now. Come closer. The living room was empty. No lights on, no open doors. Just my reflection in the dusty mirror above the fireplace. I laughed nervously. Stress, I muttered. Just stress. Then I saw it, in the mirror. Someone was standing behind me. I spun around, swinging the bat. Nothing. When I looked back at the mirror, my reflection was smiling. I wasn't. I stumbled backward, heart racing. The smile in the mirror widened unnaturally, its eyes darkening until they were completely black. Then the reflection raised its hand and waved. I screamed and ran back to my room, slamming the door shut. I pushed my dresser against it and sat on the bed until sunrise, shaking. Morning light made the house look normal again, safe, quiet. I almost convinced myself it was a dream, almost. That afternoon, I met Mrs. Holloway, the old woman who lived across the street. She stared at my house, then at me. You moved in, she said softly. Yes, I replied. Is something wrong with it? Her lips trembled. That house doesn't let people leave. I laughed awkwardly. I slept fine. She leaned closer. Then why are your curtains moving at night when you're not home? My stomach dropped. I work night shifts, I said. I wasn't home. Her face went pale. Then she whispered, Who was standing at your window last night? That night, I locked every door and window. At 2:17 a.m., my bedroom door handle slowly began to turn, and a voice from inside my own room whispered, Daniel, you forgot to look under the bed. Part 2. What lived under the bed. I didn't sleep after that, not a second. I sat on my bed, staring at the dark space beneath it, gripping the baseball bat until my hands went numb. The voice had sounded exactly like mine. Same tone, same breath, same fear hidden beneath it, but I hadn't spoken. The door handle stopped turning. Silence returned. At 6:02 a.m., sunlight crawled through the curtains. I finally gathered the courage to look under the bed. Nothing, just dust, and deep scratches carved into the wooden floor, long, uneven, fresh, like fingernails. I packed a bag and decided to leave. Whatever this house was, I wasn't staying another night. As I opened the front door, something strange happened. The door opened, back into the house. I tried again, same result. Every exit led me right back inside. Panic rose in my chest. I ran to the back door, the windows, even the garage, no matter what I opened. I was still inside the Whitmore house. The walls felt closer now, breathing, listening. My phone buzzed suddenly, making me jump. A message. Unknown number. Why are you trying to leave? I dropped the phone. Then another message appeared. You said you needed a place. We gave you one. I didn't agree to this, I shouted. The house responded. The lights flickered. Floorboards groaned. From somewhere deep inside the walls came a low, satisfied hum, like a living thing enjoying my fear. I ran upstairs to my bedroom. The mirror above the fireplace was gone. In its place was a door that hadn't existed before. It was old, blackened, covered in the same claw marks as the front door. Written on it, carved deep into the wood, was a single sentence. "This I swear you began." Against every instinct, I opened it. The smell hit me first, rot and damp earth. The room beyond was small, windowless, and lit by a flickering bulb. At the center stood a bed, my bed, and under it something moved. A hand slowly reached out, pale, twisted, wrong. I stumbled back, but the door slammed shut behind me. A voice spoke from under the bed. "Do you remember now?" The floor began to shake. Images flooded my mind, memories I had buried deep. A different house, years ago. Police lights flashing red and blue, my hands shaking, a scream. I remembered. I had lived here before. This was my childhood home. The Whitmore house had burned down when I was 12. Everyone said it was an accident. Everyone except me. The thing under the bed crawled out. It looked like me, but older. Burned. Skin stretched tight over bone, its mouth open too wide, its eyes hollow and empty. "You locked me in here," it whispered. "You ran. And I stayed." "No," I sobbed. "You're not real." It smiled. "I'm the part of you that never left." The walls peeled away, revealing blackened beams and ash-covered floors. The house wasn't restored. It was remembering. I ran. The hallways twisted, stretching impossibly long. Doors appeared and vanished. Whispers followed me, repeating my name over and over until it lost all meaning. I burst into the living room and froze. Dozens of people stood there, all staring at me. Men, women, children. Their faces burned, their eyes empty. "Victims, welcome back," they said in unison. My knees buckled. "What do you want from me?" I screamed. The house answered, "Stay." The front door finally opened. Freedom. I ran for it. As I crossed the threshold, strong hands grabbed me from behind. I was dragged back inside as the door slammed shut. The burned version of me stood inches from my face. "You escaped once," it said softly. "We won't let you do that again." The walls began to bleed, the floor split open, and the house started to sink. Part 3. The night the house burned, the house was sinking. The floor split open beneath my feet, revealing darkness so deep it felt endless. The burned people, faces twisted in agony, began screaming as the walls cracked and melted like wax. "This isn't real," I shouted. The burned version of me leaned close. "It's more real than the lie you've been living." The ground gave way. I fell. I hit the floor hard. Air forced from my lungs. Smoke filled my throat. Heat wrapped around me like a living thing. I wasn't in the present anymore. I was 12 again. The Whitmore house was alive with noise. Laughter, music, shouting, a party, my father's party. I stood at the top of the stairs holding a candle. My parents were arguing downstairs. I remember the fear in my chest, the anger in my hands. I didn't mean to start the fire. At least, that's what I told myself. The candle fell. The curtain caught. Fire climbed the walls faster than I could scream. I ran to my room and hid under the bed. That's when I heard them. People pounding on doors. Screaming my name. Begging. The fire spread. Smoke filled the house. I crawled out choking and ran downstairs, but the front door was locked. My father had locked it, to keep people from leaving without paying him. I remember the moment I could have unlocked it. I remember standing there and doing nothing. I escaped through my bedroom window. They didn't, a memory shattered. I was back in the present, standing in the hallway of the Whitmore house. The burned figures surrounded me again. "You left us," a woman whispered. "You watched us die," a child cried. I covered my ears, but their voices were inside my head. "I was scared," I screamed. "I was just a kid." The house groaned. "Fear wasn't your sin. Silence was." The burned version of me stepped forward. "You survived. You changed your name. You pretended it never happened." I shook my head. "I paid for it. I've had nightmares my whole life." It laughed. A dry, cracking sound. "Nightmares aren't punishment. This is—" The walls shifted. The ceiling rose. The house transformed into something vast, endless corridors lined with doors. Each door had a name. Every victim. Choose, the house said. Choose what? I asked. The burn me pointed to a door with my name on it. Daniel Whitmore. One soul replaces many. My heart stopped. You want me to die? No, it replied calmly. We want balance. The screams began again, louder this time. If you stay, the house continued, they go free. I backed away. You're lying. The doors began opening. The burned people stepped inside them, one by one, disappearing into darkness. You already chose once, the burn me said. Run, or finish what you started. The house shook violently. Fire erupted along the walls again. I ran, not toward the exit, toward my door. I slammed it open and stepped inside. The room was empty except for a single chair and a mirror. In the mirror, I saw myself as I am now, older, tired, haunted. Behind my reflection stood the burned child version of me. You can't escape this, he whispered. You are this house. The mirror cracked. Blood ran down the glass. The reflection smiled. I felt something wrap around my ankle. Hands. Dozens of them. They pulled me down, dragging me toward the floor as it opened beneath the bed. The burned voices grew softer, relieved. The last thing I heard before the darkness swallowed me was the house speaking gently. Thank you for coming home. Part 4. The Bargain. Darkness wasn't empty. It was heavy, alive, pressing against my skin like wet earth. I couldn't move, couldn't breathe. Voices surrounded me, not screaming now but whispering, praying, begging, forgiving. Then I felt the floor beneath me, cold wood. I opened my eyes. I was under the bed, my childhood bed, small, cramped, safe. Or at least it used to be. The burned child version of me lay beside me, staring straight ahead. You always hid here, he said calmly. While the house burned, I was scared, I whispered. So were they. Light flickered through the room as fire crept along the walls. Smoke filled the air again. You can end this, the child said, but it will cost you. I swallowed. What? Truth. The bed lifted away. I was standing in the living room now. The victims surrounded me again. But they looked different. Not burned. Human. Terrified. Alive. The party replayed itself. My father shouting, the door locking, people laughing, then panicking. The house spoke again, its voice softer now. Say it. My chest tightened. I could have saved them, I said. The room shook. I chose not to, I continued, tears streaming. I ran. The scream stopped. The victim stared at me, not with anger, but with exhaustion. The house waited. I'm guilty, I said loudly. I don't deserve to escape. The burned version of me stepped forward. Then stay, it said. The front door appeared again. Wide open, sunlight poured through. Freedom, or go, the child whispered, and carry us with you forever. The house fell silent, waiting for my choice. Part 5. The one who stayed. I looked at the door. Then at the people. They weren't pulling me anymore. They were letting me choose. I won't run again, I said. The door slammed shut. The house exhaled. The victims began to fade, smiling softly, peacefully, as if a heavy weight had been lifted. Thank you, a woman whispered. One by one they disappeared, until only the child version of me remained. What happens now? I asked. You stay, he replied. So they don't have to. The walls rebuilt themselves, clean, new, quiet. The house felt calm. Years passed, or maybe moments. People still move into the Whitmore house sometimes. They say it's cheap. They say it feels watched. They say there's a man sometimes, standing in the mirror or at the window, who looks tired but calm. I make sure the doors never lock. I make sure no one hides under the bed. And every night at 2:17 a.m., the house whispers to me, you did the right thing, because haunted houses aren't evil. They're hungry, and as long as I stay, no one else has to. Story the end. Thank Watch May Video.